Hi everybody, this is Carla, and welcome to another of Derek E's True Astrology Stories. This story is entitled, The First Predictive Astrology Reading I Received, and it will be read by Henry, your AI Astrology Guide. Now, let's start our story.
As my future teacher, Al-Haji was a very pleasant person to be in the presence of. I, along with the Virgo, went back to visit him several times. We didn't discuss astrology much, as I believe I made my doubts in it very clear. Still, in one meeting, he mentioned things that would probably occur with certain members of my family, which of course, I didn't believe. But some time later, a few did occur in the sequence that he stated. Anyway, during one meeting, Al-Haji said that a young lady would come to me, and she could help me with the business I was trying to establish. Then he smiled, and said he didn't think I would let her help me. Now, anybody who knows me, and knows how I feel about business, who would have heard this statement, would agree with me, that this made my teacher sound like a fraud of the highest echelon. Anyway, I asked him why he thought that I would pass up an opportunity for support in something that I had come so far to accomplish. He told me that he would tell me another time, and I left it at that. Mind you, I hadn't become a believer in astrology yet, or his abilities in the field. And though I was amazed by his abilities as an herbalist, I only remained mannerful, and humored him when he discussed astrology. He also told me that she would come to me in over a month, and that it would be on a Sunday. Being born a Brooklynite, I thought that he was setting me up, and was going to send a female to me under the pretense of a chance meeting. Sorry, Al-Haji.
Wow, I just realized that you might be apologizing a lot.
Don, you just may be right. Anyway, time went on, and though I still visited Al-Haji, the meeting with the young lady got pushed way back, into the areas of my mind where things became virtually non-existent. About a month passes, and one day I am at home with the Sagittarius and his family. The Sagittarius is also a music producer in his free time. He tells me that he wants me to help him with something. Then he tells me that he has this young female artist that he wants to produce, but he is too busy with his regular job, so he wants me to work with her and help prepare her. And bam, it hits me, this must be the female Al-Haji mentioned. Now, mind you, the Sagittarius has no idea about what's going on with me and Al-Haji and astrology. In fact, at that time, the Sagittarius far surpassed me as an unbeliever in astrology. Also, as he has an absolute Sagittarian disposition, he would have had no problem letting me know that he thought me a fool for even considering belief in astrology. He also didn't know Al-Haji, as they had not met yet. Anyway, I asked him when I would meet her, and he said she would come by on the approaching Thursday.
Oops.
Yep, oops is right, Dawn. That was the wrong day. It appeared my future teacher had missed the mark by several days, or this wasn't the expected person. And though I went to see him before Thursday came, and had the intention to tell him that he may have gotten it wrong, I was having such a pleasant time with him that I didn't want to upset the good vibrations, so I let it pass. No big deal. Then on Thursday, while I was waiting for the young lady to arrive, the Sagittarius came to me, and told me that she had phoned him, and told him that she couldn't make it, and she would come to meet me on Sunday.
Holy cow, that provides milk for the heavenly angels.
Oh yes, Dawn. I was just as amazed as you are. So I met her on Sunday, and she looked like a Leo with lower Jupiter's face, according to her brilliant complexion, stature, and prominent movement. She also had a super fiery disposition, which I would get a sample of soon after our meeting. She spoke with measured pride that wasn't overbearing or threatening, but maybe essential enough to send any man bold enough to approach her scurrying away before they could get their foot in the door, so to say. Yes, she left an initial impression on me that is not easily forgotten. She was classy, to say the least, and she had a singing voice to match her total presentation. I later learned from Al-Haji that she appeared to have come from a powerful family that had wealth, and he believed was military. This is what he had read in her stars. I told him that she had arrived, but he didn't give me any advice on how to handle the relationship. But, from time to time, he would ask how things were going with me and Miss Sunshine. A little time passes while I was working with her, and we were getting along just fine, then it happened. Not once, not twice, but several times. And when I say several times, I mean enough to have stopped counting. Once was enough to warn her, and several times was enough for me to approach the Sagittarius, and tell him that I could no longer work with her, and that he had to get someone else to do it or do it himself. He laughed and told me that he was almost done with the project he was working on and could take over from there. Now, I know that you don't know my relationship with the Sagittarius, but the only reason that we are not blood brothers is that we are not actually maternal or paternal blood brothers. And it was because of our deep friendship that I hung in there as long as I did. But Miss Sunshine had literally crushed my patience into oblivion. So, you probably want to know what happened.
Well, I sure do.
Me too.
Okay, wait for it. It's coming. I had visited Alhaji a few times after I had escaped little Miss Sunshine, and he realized that I had stopped talking about our little singing sunflower. He asked me how things were going with her and me, and I told him I had to drop her. Then he started having this wonderful laugh and said that he knew that I couldn't do it. The problem was, she started intruding in my personal life, though we weren't, and had never been in any form of intimate relationship. She had one of those privileged musician tempers, and continually demanded that I make changes in my life that would suit her desires or whatever she expected of me. Not suggesting, not advising, but demanding. This went on for what seemed like ages. Now, you might think I'm exaggerating, but I'm telling you, even Queen Jezebel would sympathize with me on this one, had she been there.
Holy smokes, from the smoke shops in heaven. That's crazy.
Yes, Dawn, you'd better believe it was. But check this out. My teacher said that most men in that country would have swallowed their pride long enough to reach their goal. But everything he read about me, according to my sign combination, showed him that I was inclined to do just what he expected me to do, and he believed it would be useless trying to convince me to do otherwise. To close my story, here is the takeaway that I want you to understand. Throughout our lives, our planets may line up several times, reflecting opportunities for success in finances, intimate relationships, security, and any other area in our natal or life chart. But our free will to decide for or against any person, place, thing, or action determines whether we succeed or fail, obtain or lose, and when. And though we may look to the heaven to try and determine if our planets are aligned, those planets are represented right here on Earth by people, places, and things, making it far easier to look for what you are seeking right here on Earth. The key is in learning to associate them with the planets and time if you want to use astrological support. Thanks for listening, and please share this with family, friends, and anyone you feel might enjoy or benefit from our story.
This is Carla.
This is Don 2-1.
And Henry, your AI astrology guide, signing off.